Welcome to Highly Affected by Her Surroundings, the podcast where we reveal how your environment can make or break your day. Hosted by me, Nicole Rowe, owner and lead designer at Immersed Interiors. Okay, I am so excited. Today's guest is my new friend, Rachel, and I'm going to call her my friend because she's one of those Instagram accounts that I stumbled upon a few months ago, and it is so on brand for not only highly affected by your surroundings and our Nixon interiors, but myself personally. And she's actually going to be my first kind of brand interview that hasn't been a designer, contractor, or a friend. So let me welcome my friend Rachel from Subtle Impact. She is going to talk about herself, kind of a quick background, and tell you all what her company is. So Rachel, take over.
Okay. Hi, I'm Rachel. I am the owner of, my company is called Subtle Impacts. We are a decorative weight business. So our product line are weights that you can use for your workouts and then weights that you can use just as decor when you're not working out. So I live here in the Midwest, more specifically Iowa. So do you want me to just dive into how the product came about, or?
I would say we can kind of get into some questions. So,
Okay.
just for everybody listening, this is Rachel's first podcast. So, I am like kind of breaking the seal with her, and I am so excited to kind of get her into this world. I a couple months ago placed a personal order. And funny story, I've had it at my office because the kind of goal was to bring it home, but I had it shipped to the office. And now it's like styled in front of our planters. And I have found the number of times, like during the day, or if I'm at the office at night or on the weekends, I use it. So I'll be sitting there like on a conference call doing like sumo squats, and
Yeah.
I love having it at the office. So my
Yeah.
team has kind of joked that I'm like, I need to order more so we can all kind of start doing lunges in the warehouse.
Yeah.
But it is just such a cool product. It's such a cool idea. So yes, tell us, how did this start? Like, what made you want to start this company?
Yeah. So it'll be 10 years this May that my dad passed away.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. It was rough. So he had a disease called frontal temporal dementia, basically where your frontal lobes, like that's the behavior part of yourself. So he was just becoming somebody else, and then, started to lose body function later on and stuff. So he, in his life, he started his own business himself. He did repair jobs for local farmers. And then it kind of developed into a little bit more, started doing jobs for kind of more so manufacturing. So Steffensmeier welding manufacturing is the family business. So when he was kind of losing his mind a little bit, my mom ended up taking over the company. She was an x-ray technician, so she didn't really have a background in the world of metal, whatever. So she's thrown into this deal. So fast forward, I go to college, work at a few other jobs, and then I end up working at the family business. So we have never really had our own product line. And so for a couple of years, honestly, I was just like, okay, what could we make? And one day I was just in my living room like, okay, what's made out of metal in here? And I saw my dumbbells on the floor and thought like, okay, so there's a bunch of companies that already make dumbbells. Like, okay, what could we do differently? And then I was like, well, I just hate that when they're sitting there, they look cluttered. And then when I put them away, then I don't use them for like half of the year. So what if they also looked kind of cute? So that was kind of like my light bulb moment of, the design or the idea, the concept. So then I just started doodling stuff and presented it to my mom. And long story short, here we are.
Well, I love that you and your mom instead of just kind of shutting everything down after you went through this really hard period in your life. I'm sure your
Mhm.
mom, I mean, you guys were both grieving. You were both trying to pick up the pieces and to keep a small business going through
Yeah.
that grief. So many women who weren't part of, their husband or their dad's business would have just said, okay, it was great. Let's sell everything off. Let's, kind of move on with our lives. But to
Yeah.
take it and pivot and now do what you're doing, how
Yeah.
cool for your mom and for y'all to
Yeah.
have this story.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm actually the second of the five kids that they had together. So I have four siblings, and a couple of the boys now work here too. They're the youngest too, so they didn't come on until this last couple of years. So yeah, it's been. She'll look back and say like, "Oh, I wish I would have just sold it because oh my gosh, the stress." And she's also a female working in a male dominated space. So there was that dynamic of I don't know how she did it, but I'm glad that she did because it gave me the opportunity to. I don't think I would have been able to. Well, I would never have been trying to think of something. You know what I mean? So, or if I had, it would have just been like, okay, well, you know,
But if you break it down even further, you're in a rural community in the
yeah,
middle of the country in a very ag heavy, male dominant
yes,
field where many women are, and I'm not trying to stereotype, but it's many are teachers, they're nurses, they're
yes,
admin, but to come in
hmm
and throw yourselves into this world, creating a product that honestly, your target customer is not necessarily rural ag people.
yeah,
So
yeah,
you're creating something targeting, the bigger cities, the coastal, the more trendy
yes,
people that are affected by their surroundings per se,
yes,
which I mean, that's a risk.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, and also like there wasn't I have a great group of friends that have been very supportive. But yeah, so there was definitely when we were talking about the idea, a lot of negativity of like, well, what are you talking about? That's when you're talking to, yeah, this kind of now that's not saying that there's nobody in this community that gets it, but yeah.
I mean, I think you and I had this conversation on the phone as women founders of companies. It's hard socially to have all of your friends or family understand the daily stresses and understand that this is what you do, this is your livelihood, this is what you're proud of, this is what you wanna talk about, and,
Yeah.
they don't wanna hear us talk about employee retention or having to, make OpEx that week or what
Yeah.
issues you've had with finishes, like, they love you and they wanna be friends with you, but not everyone that, is around you really understands, so I
Yeah.
think that connection is really important.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so now I kind of what I found very interesting, we know the background was the metal shop and all of that, but you wanna kind of walk us through the process of actually fabricating these weights?
Okay, yeah. So like I said, I was wanting to make something that we can make here, but actually, so these pieces come in a cast piece from a foundry. They're also in the Midwest, so that's kind of cool too. So we get them here as a cast piece, and then we machine the bottoms flat so that way they don't wobble because it comes with a little stuff, extra stuff on the bottom. Um, and then yeah, put it through a tumbler so it gets a little smoother on the seam parting, and then we powder coat. We drill a hole in the bottom that way we can hang it, and then we powder coat paint them, and then package them up and ship them out.
So I know most people listening and just most people in general, like powder coating is they don't really understand it. They know that stuff is powder coated, but I
Yes.
think the process of powder coating is really interesting, and I know for us, we work with some local shops when we need various metal things powder coated, and it's like we order the little rectangle samples of things, they spray samples, it never looks the same. Like, powder coating is a process.
It's a process and it's a very you have to get the heat just right for it to attach, like the chemicals, the cast piece itself. So you put it in an oven, it has to heat up to a certain temperature in order for the paint to adhere to it. So our our paint guy is a magician and love him to death. So he just knows how all of this stuff. It's a little bit over my head of, you know, that chemical stuff. But yeah, powder coating is a very
Well, I
I don't
think
know, it's
what
just
y'all
cool.
have done, and I only have one color so far, but you have a very good variety of, like, colors and textures. So it's like you can
Yes.
really pick whatever the style kind of your house is. So
Yes.
let's circle back a little bit, and it's like, okay, so we know what the standard dumbbell looks like. It's, the metal, it's the block, they're very masculine. And of course, you can also go to Target and get the ones that are kind of the rubber wrapped, and they've come up with
Yeah.
some, but they're still the same. It's a dumbbell. It's
It's
still that kind of grimy
right.
thing.
Right. And that was something that, so I will say with the powder coat, it is a little like, it's a little more slippery than the rubber coating. I wouldn't say it's me, myself, all the times that I've worked out, I haven't dropped them or had issues with it at all. But I really wanted the finish to be, because even the rubber coatings that have a neutral color, it's still, they're not easy to clean and wipe off. The powder coat is a very easy, you take a washcloth and just wipe it off. Um, but yeah, all of the other weights and the rubber is just, it's just not the vibe. It's not high end. You can tell that it's a weight. It feels like a weight. It looks like a weight. And it's just not, you know.
Because it is a weight. And I know this
Yeah.
morning I took a bar class online and I grabbed like my little 3 pound. Once again, I
Mhm.
think they were from Target. They might be like baby pink. I don't even remember. But I looked at them and they are kind of grimy. Like, and I'm
Yeah.
like, I only ever use these like in the morning, like, but they
Mhm.
are that. And the new ones that I ordered from you, I've done kettlebell swings. I've done a bunch of stuff with them, and I've never felt like, "Oh, I'm gonna throw this through the window." So I think
Yeah. Yeah.
that consideration you made worked really,
Yeah.
really well, and
Yeah.
you had to balance, I think, the aesthetic with the function, and all your shapes are
Yes.
different. So how did you come up
Yes.
with the shapes?
Yeah. So when I was doodling, like, okay, thought of the idea, and then, okay, so what would that look like? It's got to be aesthetic, but then how is this going to function? So I knew that most of the designs needed to be a symmetrical piece, right? So you're not the stability. So I kind of just like looked at a kettlebell. I'm like, okay, I don't know. I just kind of jammed out and was doodling different designs and pooped them out. Really, there is one design. The 15 pound is more of an asymmetrical design, but I just like that one. And the bottom of it has most of the weight, so you're getting the center of gravity is still centered with that asymmetrical piece. So yeah, it
I
was.
think I was gonna say, I think the asymmetrical with that one, it makes sense, and you can also grip it kinda how you want. And it
Yes.
looks once again, when you style you did a very nice job of, like, your different pounds, like, being able to style them kinda together, if that makes sense.
Yeah. 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 Thank you. Thank you.
No, I think it's a lot of fun. I think taking the idea of the weights and making them something better, and I know I'm
Mhm.
kinda jumping ahead of myself, but on some past episodes, I've always, like, asked, my guests, like, if you could redesign any kinda space, what would it be? And Brad Levitt, who was on one, I guess it'd probably be about a month ago now, said hotel gyms. And in my head, I was like, "She has to get into every hotel, like, gym," because so many of them, even the nice hotels, have just, like it's all just gross and hodgepodge and, kind of all of
Yes.
that, but what would
Yeah.
be, like, a dream kind of location for you? Like, where would you love to see your products?
So I don't have a specific hotel in mind, but I have on my little vision board a luxury hotel.
Yeah.
So that is part of one of my goals of like, or like a hotel, a spa, resort.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I'm curious, and we'll have to
Whether
in
that
the
be,
show
I think it would be
notes.
cool too if, um, I think it would be cool too if, in a hotel, like in the room of a hotel, because sometimes
Yes.
like you don't want to go all the way down there and you just want to like work out in your t-shirt in the space of the hotel and relax for the night.
Okay, so we need to start tagging, like, Kelly Wearstler, proper hotels, the Pendries, like,
Yeah,
all of
yeah.
these hotels, because I know I stayed at the Austin Proper a couple years ago, and they actually have an option, like, when you're maybe it's, like, right before you check in, it's like, "Do you want a yoga mat in your room?" You can do some of these
Oh,
things,
yeah.
and it's like,
Yeah.
"Do you want 10-pound dumbbells?" Like, "Yes, I do." And you
Yeah.
bring up something pretty and you're like, "This is like it fits the vibe, it fits the room." So I
Yes.
definitely think we need to manifest that for you because the
Yes.
hotels is huge. That
Yeah.
really, really is.
Mhm.
And then, I mean,
I think it would
obviously,
be cool.
I think so too. And what a good kind of marketing and, just in general, but same with, some of these nicer Pilates studios. They're
Yeah.
beautiful,
Yeah.
and then they've got the normal weights. So, definitely, I think you have just this huge market beyond individual consumers that can
Mhm.
really, I think, take advantage, of it. But we talk about surroundings and how I'm obviously very highly affected by them. I do luxury homes. We do a lot of gyms, and that's something. But I think for my question, your surroundings affect your well-being. It's just kind
Yeah.
of, the
Yeah.
nature of it. I would love kind of your opinions on, like, how does this decorative, like, workout equipment shape someone's, like, home gym and their mindset? Like, what are your goals for it?
So, when you come home and from a long day of work and your living room is just a mess, it just makes you feel anxiety, chaotic, stressful, and then like, okay, I just start thinking like, okay, now I've got to do this, I've got to cook, I've got to do that, and then I'm supposed to do a workout, like, and then like it's just a very stressful mindset. So I really love the idea of, okay, so but what if it looked like this? You come home and maybe you have a few things to pick up in your living room. So you pick that up, then you just sit on the couch maybe and scroll on your phone for a little bit and like kind of, okay, reset yourself. And then you look up and you're now in a space that is like, you're just now in a different mindset in general. Like you're happier, you're not as stressed, and you looking at your weights doesn't really feel like a chore again. It's more of like, okay, my space is clean. Um, I'm a go-getter. I can do this. Like it's more inviting of to look at a piece versus like finishing a task and then being like, okay, well now I got to dig my weights out and do this. And you know what I mean? It's just a different mindset shift that speaks to what you're talking about of just like an overall wellness
Okay,
product.
so do you think having the decorative weights out makes you more motivated to actually use them?
So I myself, I have had so we have a bookend set. This one is cool. So the decor piece itself is a bookend set, and then you pick up two of the weights and then use them as 2.5 pound weights, and then you can set them back down. So I had just like the rubber ones, the cheap rubber ones from Walmart, and I had put them in a basket, and I didn't use those for a year. And then when I put the new ones on my console table, did I work out with them every single day? No. But because they were sitting out, the more times you see something, like if I don't see stuff, I don't remember that I have it. So to have that visual reminder has helped me. And yeah, when stuff is aesthetically pleasing, it just makes you, same thing with like a workout outfit, right? Like
Yes.
sometimes you don't have the motivation, and then like when you're just put on a cute outfit, and then you're like, okay, I can do this. Like it's kind of the same effect with those of like, okay, I can do this.
Well, I know, like, on your social media, you do a good job of kind of doing some good workouts that people can follow, but you also, like, tag and link, like, your outfits. So I do feel like you need to find a female founder that has, a workout clothing line that, like, matches your vibe. Like, that would be
Yes.
super, super fun.
Yes.
Even if y'all did pop-up shops, like, fly out to somewhere great and do that,
Yeah.
because you're right. I spent and I'm still ongoing, but we've been renovating our gym. We wallpapered my gym. Like, people were like, "You did what?" And I'm like, "It's wallpapered. We've added lighting, we've
Yeah.
added better fans. I've ordered the mirrors." Like, my gym is one of my best rooms in my house
Yeah.
because and my husband and I use it all the time. When it
Yeah.
was just white walls, like, it was kind of boring, but now it really
Yeah.
is special.
Yeah. And that's something too, like not just with, okay, buy the weights, sure, whatever, but the whole, I really like the idea of, yeah, pushing people to care about things that really do impact them, like their space. And so, yeah, it's not just the weights, like your whole space. Make this room a room that when you walk in, you feel at home, you feel inspired. Like, yeah, I'm all
Okay.
about it.
So we said we wanna get you in hotels. We want you to collab with another, kind of fitness clothing. What would be some dream collaborations for you? Whether it's, an artist or an influencer, or kind of what would you love to see yourself partner with?
Well, I love Whitney Simmons. She's very much, I don't know if you've seen her.
Yes, remind me, where's she located?
I
Is she
don't
West Coast? Okay.
I don't actually know where she's located.
Yeah.
I haven't creeped that hard on her.
Okay, just me.
Yeah. Well, I do creep on people, yes. But um so her fitness is called the Alive app, and she's very big
Okay.
into like the mental health stuff. And I don't know. I just think it would be cool to work with like-minded people. But if you see her space, so she takes a lot of YouTube videos too, where her space is very much the vibe, and I don't know. Yeah.
No, I think this new kind of era, and a lot of it's, post-COVID. Some of these were pre-COVID, but, like, there's the Mamalay app, and I don't know if you're familiar with her. She's out of Hawaii, but she
Mhm.
focuses on, like, strength. Like, women need to use weights, and that's
Yeah.
how, like, a lot of her, followers are, like, postpartum, and, she's very, like, macro heavy. But then my friend Allie, who was a few episodes ago, is dropping the Selfish Mom app, which is once again workouts that busy moms
Yes.
can do.
Yeah.
And same thing, most of these moms are doing these workouts in their living room. Like,
Yeah.
they're doing
Yeah.
them in places that guests, family,
Yes.
children, friends are seeing. And I've been into so many consultations for potential projects, and the clients have been like, "I don't love this room, we don't use this room." And I've realized they have, like, random, like, mismatched workout stuff in the living room, or
Mhm.
their workout stuff, like you said, is in, like, a back garage. They're not going back there, especially in the winter, to work out.
Right.
So, it's definitely,
Well,
an
and some,
option.
yes, yeah. And some people, like my house is not huge and glamorous, and like I don't really have a room that I can dedicate just to that. So it's nice to have a workout space in my office room also. So,
Okay, so back to, like, your personal workout space.
yes.
What like, does it look like? You said it's in your office, but what are your kind of main things that you have in there that are your kind of
I guess
go-to?
I kind of have two workout spaces, if you will. So one of them is in my office, and that's when I want to do a workout and watch a show and do a workout at the same time. And then I have my kind of sunroom area where it has my big, beautiful mirror, a bunch of windows, and then that's my room for I want to listen to music and do a workout. Um, I'm sorry, I forgot your question.
No, you're good. Okay, so now, like, if you could design your dream, like, home gym, what would be in like, wellness space gym, what would be in it?
I feel like I already have it with where my personal space is
Yeah.
at. But yeah, obviously our weights. And then yeah, I don't know. That's it.
You're
I
like,
don't need
all we need is strength, ladies." No, you know.
yeah. I mean, I've also been kind of in the works of figuring out how to find some kind of so like yoga mats,
Mhm.
the yoga balls, blocks, that kind of stuff is also can be clutter. So if there was some kind of console table that fitted, because a lot of there's nowhere to store them except for behind stuff. So I've been working on this little console table that is made specifically for your workout equipment. So when you're done, your mat can go right in there. Um, but yeah,
So what okay, you said console table. What are some other, like, future products that you can kinda spill that you would love to design?
um, mm-mm-mm. I think more so than new products, I would like to offer new services. So I
Okay.
have thought about like, well, wouldn't it be cool with if we had interior designers available if for people to redecorate their space. I'm not an expert on making your space beautiful. I just have like practiced it on my own in my own space. So I think that that would be a nice service that I would like to add. And then also another service of, or maybe partnership. Oh, Form. Form was another on my list of I want to work with Form. Have you seen that?
Yes,
It's like it's
yes.
Amy Clark and yeah, that would be a dream. That would be a dream.
Hey, we've
Um,
gotta put it out there.
yeah. Yeah, and then new colors. So I kind of went with neutral colors because these pieces are not meant to be like the statement piece, you know, they're just supposed to blend subtly in your space.
Yes.
So I don't think I would ever do like loud, I mean loud by like bright
But
colors,
the
but
standard primary, no, but it would be fun if you came in with, like you know how, like, Benjamin Moore and Sherwin-Williams do, like, their colors of the year, like,
yes,
it would be
yeah.
neat to have,
Or do like,
like, this year's an oxblood that's just gonna be 2025 or something like
yeah,
that for people that
yeah,
wanna collect them because it
yeah,
can become a cool,
yeah,
thing to collect for sure.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
okay, so what are some of your, like, non-negotiable, like, self-care habits?
Non-negotiable self-care
I know we're
habits.
both sitting here with, like, hats and, like, probably not clean hair, and so maybe we're not the 2 people to dive into it, but, and that is 0 offense to you, I promise.
Oh,
But
no,
what are your
no.
kind of, like, go-to rituals? Like, what do you like to do to wind down?
Um, I guess kind of non-negotiables. Not I'm better about my weekly practices than I
Yeah.
am on my daily practices because I just feel like that has been more realistic for me. So if I can walk or work out at least 3 times a week, like that, I just have to do that. Otherwise, I'm not doing so hot. And then showering. I just love to take a shower. That is, I mean, that's very basic and whatever, but that's like one of my self care things.
But I think that is important, and especially when you take the daily things, like, we all have to shower. But when
Right.
you can elevate them in just a
Yeah.
way that brings you a little more joy, whether it's like a body
Mhm.
wash that you love or, dimming the
Putting the
lights.
yeah, yes.
For
Oh,
me, it's a towel warmer. Like, I love a warm towel
ooh,
after the shower, and it's
yeah.
not fancy. It's like an Amazon $50 towel warmer.
Right, right. But yeah, yeah, dimming the lights. I do love to dim the lights and cook a meal and play some music. That is also very therapeutic. But I
Which
wouldn't
is
say that it's a
easy to
daily
do.
habit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I mean, it's
Yeah.
still kind of on a Friday night, work is done,
Yeah.
hopefully. I know being an entrepreneur, sometimes it never feels like work is done,
Yeah.
but to put a dimmer on the lights, light a candle, cook a recipe, and sit down and enjoy a meal because 'cause you're engaged, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, so you're engaged, so to be able to sit, with your fiancé and enjoy a nice hot meal, it just kinda signifies to everything that, like, okay, the day is done, it's time to relax, and
Yeah.
obviously, you value movement. You've created a product that
Mhm.
allows individuals to really fit movement in more than just saying, like, "Hey, I'm gonna go to the gym for an hour and a half." Like I said, we have the weights at my office. I have gone through and done, like, "I'm just gonna do 10 sumo squats right now. I'm
Yes.
just gonna do these other little things,"
Right.
because as founders and entrepreneurs and CEOs and all these hats we have to wear, it's not always realistic to be able to dedicate 60,
Right.
90 minutes or to shower, like afterwards and go to
Yeah.
work or whatever the case may be. So
Yeah.
I think squeezing those little moments, and I think also your videos, you've done a nice job of being like, "Hey, you got 10 minutes? Let's do this." So
Yeah.
I think it's neat that you allow people to have those like minimal expectations. Okay, so what has been, like, one of the toughest lessons to learn kind of as the founder and, like, how has it shaped your, like, next decisions?
Um, well, finances has been a large part of I didn't realize how much it would take to start something like this. And then but my mom has been, she went through what she went through, and she has been extremely helpful in guiding me through stuff. And I mean, it's her and I as the company, right? So, um, what was the question again? What do
Really
I?
just what your toughest lessons have been, and I think numbers are something we can be a visionary, we can execute, and then you get, like, your profit and loss sheet or whatever it is, and you're like, "I don't know what I'm looking at." So I think really finding the people that can help you kinda get it
Yeah,
back into place or explain it to you like a human. Like, I didn't
yeah,
go to school for finance. I didn't go to school to be a business owner. I went to school for
right,
construction. Like, it's
right.
kind of a whole different thing. So yeah, you're
Right.
right.
Well, and then there's like the taxes part of it. Like, oh, you have to do this. Like, there was a lot more responsibilities that I was unaware of outside of like the marketing of the product. Like, yeah, there's just so much. So,
And I think that's what people kind of fail to remember. It's like, yes, you can have an idea. Yes, you can execute it. Yes, you can market it. And you can have your happy customers, but there's still like 60% of the business that isn't the glamorous. And I just got off a training call for some number stuff. I've probably in the past month have spent 30 hours on the number side of my business because I didn't realize not out of whack, but we've transitioned to a new bookkeeping team. We have a new accountant team because I thought we were fine. And then you get, the tax stuff and you get these government letters and you've realized that we need a lot of help in that. Like it's
yeah,
not something to be ashamed of. And the other thing, not to throw men under the bus, but I have found that like men on the golf course, they talk tax strategy, they talk all of this business owner stuff, but when women get together and say they're having a glass of wine or hanging out,
mhm,
they're talking like wellness, they're talking reality TV, they're talking children, they're
yeah,
talking weddings if you're in your phase of life. None
yeah,
of my friends are sitting there being like, "Oh, did you know you can write off your office, like, bathroom?" Like, they just
yeah,
don't
yeah.
talk that. So I think just having this conversation now, even though it's a little off brand for highly affected by your surroundings, is a conversation to have because it is a very masculine conversation that shouldn't be that way.
Yes,
So I
yes.
guess transitioning that into advice, what advice would you have for other entrepreneurs who are trying to create a product-based business? Like, what would you kind of be your I don't know, like, you're a disruptor. You have taken a normal product, really disrupted the industry, and created something different. Like, what would you tell somebody who has those goals?
Definitely to do your market research and then also just keep going because I feel like it's taken that's another thing too that I wasn't you hear it all the time like that it takes time to develop something. You don't just become super successful overnight. And that is just so true. And it's easy to know that, but it can be very lonely and hard to stay consistent when you don't have immediate results. So I am the marketer, the videographer, the photograph person, the website person. Like I'm wearing a lot of hats of the company. And then also I'm the one that is doing the customer service and shipping the product out. So there's a lot of
I would say people think it's glamorous, and
right.
I
And
think that
even
yeah.
even the making the video stuff of like, oh, like that would be so fun to just do videos and like it's actually very mentally exhausting to because I still work at the business too. So to work an 8-hour shift and then have to try to, you mean you have to think of the imagery and like video myself. That's a whole nother dynamic of,
No, I
yeah,
think I saw it was a masterclass or something years ago that they were like, basically, no one is an overnight success. Even
yeah.
some of these people that go viral and, their product or their service goes viral, they've been doing it for 5 years. They've been doing it for 10 years,
Mm-hmm.
or they've been working without making a dollar forever.
Yeah,
So, persistence is huge, and
yeah,
in the world where everybody wants that instant gratification, like, persistence is what's gonna get you through.
yeah. And just do it even if it's not perfect because sometimes you spend all this time making content and then you're like, okay, never mind, or you post something and it didn't go well so then you just stop or
I
yeah,
just posted a TikTok, and I have a misspelling, like, it's supposed to be you are, like, your,
yeah,
but I,
yeah.
like, autocorrected to your, like, the wrong your, and I saw it. I took it off
Oh,
Instagram stories, but it's on TikTok, and in the caption, I said, "I know it's wrong," but, like,
yeah,
after the effort of it, done is sometimes better than perfect,
yes, yes.
and that is I don't think anyone that follows you expects perfection, and I think it actually makes it a little bit better, like, if, you're
Hmm.
doing a workout and you're balancing and you kinda topple a little bit, it's like, "Okay,
Yeah,
she also, like,
right.
lost her, spot on the wall and fell over." Like, it makes you much more approachable than
Yeah,
someone that is, in full glam doing, these perfect
yeah.
shots with these perfect, and I'm using air quotes for people not on YouTube, like, toned body and tan and, all
Yes,
of that. So, I think
yes,
it's really neat to just show up.
yeah, yeah. That is the biggest thing of like, you got to show up for yourself. Unfortunately, nobody else is going to do it for you. So,
Okay, cool. Well, I'm gonna do a couple rapid fire more questions, and then we're gonna
sure.
kinda tell everybody how they can, give you a moment to tell everyone how they can find you and all your kinda different offerings. So
All right.
what is, like, your favorite quick workout? Is it HIIT, yoga, just free weight exercise? Like, what is your favorite brings you the most joy?
I love low impact strength training. I just finished a program with Coach Kel. She did like this Pilates fusion strength training. I loved that program. It was very much like I like the bar and Pilates, and then I also like my strength training. So it's definitely a mixture of workouts.
Awesome. We'll have to link that one that you just did on there because I think it's
Yeah.
people are always a little overwhelmed, especially women, like, going to a big gym, or even if you get on some of the apps, like, it
Hmm.
feels like you have to be super knowledgeable or professional or strong already to do it.
Right.
So, I think we'll share some of your favorites, and maybe
Yeah.
some of your favorite wellness accounts too for people
Yeah.
to follow.
Yeah.
Okay. design aesthetic in one word. If you had to just pick one word for your company, like what would it be? Something came to your mind. I know it did.
What came to my mind was just good vibes. Yeah.
But I mean, that counts. Like, I really think that counts because, you've branded a subtle impact, but the good vibes really is you're not wanting people to be anything other than themselves and
Yeah,
really
yeah,
integrated in their lives. So,
yeah,
I think also that's just a good word for 2025. Like,
yeah.
let's
Like,
do it.
yeah.
Okay, last one. What is your must-have home decor item? Not counting the free weights, not
Not
counting your bookcase weights, like, none of that. Just what is something either you have at your house or your kind of dream item for your house?
so the item that I have in my house that I love the most is this mirror that I got from Wayfair. It's just a little gaudy and extra, and I love it because yeah, yeah,
No, I think it's cool, and I mean, it's neat to have certain things in your home that bring you joy every time you walk past it, and
yep,
one of our mottos at, like, our Nixon is, "You've gotta F it up," and my kids have heard me say it, and I tell them they can't repeat it because they know what the word means,
yeah,
but it's true, it's like, when you're doing an art project or you're decorating a room, like, if it was all the same style, it'd be f flat, but then if you throw that
yes,
one gaudy mirror in or,
yeah,
that one random light fixture or that one, vintage lamp,
yeah,
it makes it interesting and it makes it you, and that's
yeah,
what I think we're going for here, and honestly, I think this company you've created has really allowed people to now elevate their gym experience, and I
yeah,
really honestly, like, my goal for you is get you in hotels, get you in some of these gyms because I
yeah,
think that is what people want on vacation or in real life.
yeah,
So, good for you. I want you now to kind of give your website, give your social handles, tell people kind of what they can find there, and, like, honestly, like, if there's anything fun upcoming, because we wanna support you. We definitely
yeah.
want everybody to know what y'all do.
Yeah, yeah. So subtle impacts, and that's SUBTLEIMPACTS. Because the subtle part is, I feel like sometimes it's hard to pronounce. So yeah, subtle impacts, Instagram, TikTok. We do have a YouTube channel. I am excited. So we have built a little new studio space to shoot workouts in. So I'm going to be doing some workouts. My mom will be too. So it's kind of nice. My mom is a little bit older than me, so get both generations, different workouts for different generations, right? So I'm excited about that and introducing new colors. And yeah, you'll find decorative weights on our website.
No, and I would say follow her on her socials. I'm excited to see this new studio. I think really showing the different levels of everything is really fun, and if you go to her website and use the code R Nixon IN15, and I'm gonna spell it because everybody misspells Nixon, so it's RNICKSONIN 15, you'll save 15% off of the weights you choose. So buy some weights, send us some pictures, tag us both in it because
Yeah,
I think it really is fun. Like I said, I have them at my office, which has been cool. I wanna get some for my house too. So, thank you so much, Rachel, for your time today, and
yeah.
I'm happy to be your first podcast. I know you'll be doing more of these, and I think everybody is just gonna be really, really excited to see what this leads to and, what y'all are doing in 5 years. So, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of Highly Affected by Her Surroundings. I truly appreciate you taking the time to join us today. If you enjoyed the show, be sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode. And if you have a moment, please rate and review the podcast. It helps others discover the show, and I'd love to hear your thoughts. For more behind the scenes content and design inspiration, follow us on social media. You can find me, Nicole, at R Nixon Interiors, and the podcast at Highly Affected by Her Surrounding. We'll be sharing updates, sneak peeks, and exclusive offers you won't want to miss. Plus, if you want a recap or more details from today's episode, you can find the show notes at arnicksoninteriors.com under the Highly Affected by Her Surroundings tab. Once again, thank you for your support, and I can't wait to connect with you on social. See you next time.